Good morning. Hello, crafty friends. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Tuesday Live. We just released our Easter collection, and I am super excited to be able to share some of our samples with you today and to, of course, get some crafty time together. I have a couple projects I want to share as you all get ready to share joy with your loved ones this Easter. I am personally looking forward to spring, of course. We all look forward to the turn of the season. If you are in a place where you're experiencing cold weather, it's especially exciting to see spring on the horizon. And so these cute little bunnies and chicks and flowers and all of the things just make spring feel a little bit closer. So yeah, I'm excited about it. And also another thing I'm excited about, I'm going to give you a little teaser. We have a giveaway today. I'm going to save it to the end, so sorry to be a tease, but I do want you guys to hang out and get a chance to enter yourself to win the little giveaway that I have at the end. So, all right, let me tell you about our promotion for the Easter release. I've got it up on your screen there. It is to get a free Bits and Pieces spring scatter when you purchase any of our Easter bundles. So I am going to be showing you samples from those Easter bundles, and this is limit 1 per order, and they are limited quantities. Based on where we're at right now, I would expect this to be this promotion to be done by the end of the day today. So if you really want your free spring scatter while supplies last, there's your little heads up that this limited quantity freebie is likely going to be gone by the end of the day. So, all right, let's take a look then at what we have for Easter. Actually, you know what? Before we do Easter, we better do our freebies. Yes! Because it is the first Tuesday in March. It is officially March, everyone, which means new freebies at Tailored Expressions. We have every order freebies. We have freebies that come with your purchases of $100 or more, and I am going to introduce you to those today. And also, Whitney, if you could grab my header card, I am excited to show everybody how to store their little freebie as well. So this is what comes in your package when you place any order at Tailored Expressions. So this is our every order freebie. Doesn't matter the size of your order, you get one of these. And we are following a fun theme this year that's called Critter Crew. And so each month is a new critter that you get to add to your collection. And of course, with the spring and Easter season upon us, we thought a bunny would be perfect. So your March 2026 freebie, you get this little bunny stamp. You will want to peel the backing paper off of it, and it easily stores on the back of our Critter Crew stamp collection card. So this has the January and February already on it, our turtle and our hedgehog. If you are new at Tailored Expressions and you didn't get a chance to earn these for free, then you do have the opportunity to go back and purchase these as well. So you can keep up on your collection. This card is available for purchase to store your stamps on and then to put your stickers in place. So we'll just take that bunny and put it on the back so it can be with its friends, the hedgehog and the turtle. And then we'll take the sticker, and there are little stitch lines printed. Can you see those on the panel? They are printed very lightly to give you a guide to how to place your stickers onto your panel. And then by the time we get all the way to December, you will have just a cute little card with Polaroids of all of your critter stamps. So super fun. I'm excited about the bunny, and I have some fabulous samples to show you. Before I do the samples, I want to mention we also have add-on products for these. So if you want that added versatility of the die, you can grab the Critter Crew bunny die for purchase at the Tailored Expressions website. And then we also have our Critter Crew Bunny Banter clear stamp. So these are just some little sentiments that go each time we release a critter. We do a tiny sentiment set that has more punny themed sentiments to go with the critter of the month. So these say Happy Easter, Happy Birthday, Some Bunny Loves You, So Happy to Have You in My Life, and Hello There. We had room for just a tiny little one, so I stuck that in there as well. So this is also available as a separate purchase if you want to add those sentiments onto your order. Now, one of the questions we've gotten several times is, are we going to have dies for these tiny sentiment sets? We do not plan to do that. We wanted to just give you a little something with pretty easy sentiments that could be cut out with dies that might already be in your collection. So I put Susan on a little task to take some of our existing die sets, and I had her use the January, the February, and the March Critter Crew sentiment sets, and I'm just going to set them out here so you can see that these fit on a lot of different dies that we have. I had her do these with dies, a lot of dies that have backers to them, so that I know a lot of times you want to offset your sentiment with a backer. So I will show you, here are the ones specific for Easter. So happy to have you in my life. There's one with Happy Easter. We've got Somebody Loves You in here as well. And then I will show you the sentiment dies that cut these out. And I know these are going to be dies that many of you have in your collections. So some of these were cut out with the 2 sentiment die strips that come in the additional A2 layer stacklets. So inside that open area, we have the 2 little sentiment strips that do fit a lot of the sentiments. And then we've also got our sentiment strips. So this one is called sentiment strips, and they cut out various one-line sentiment sets with all of the straight edges on them. And then we also have many of these shown in the modern labels. And then we have the modern labels backer as well. So those are 2 separate sets. If you want to be able to add that backer on, you can grab the backer separately. So hopefully that will help you guys as you're looking for things to cut these sentiments out, as we do not have plans to release dies for the coordinating sentiments. All right, let's keep going with some of the samples. The little bunnies are so cute. Both Sue and Jill have done an amazing job creating with these. This one is from Sue with our arched rainbow stencil and some little flowers gathered at the bottom of the rainbow and a super cute little bunny. I love the white on white with her white flowers and the little tiny diamonds accenting the centers as well. And then we've got a couple cards from Jill using, I love how she combined all of our critters on this one. They're having a little party. It says happy birthday, and she used our birthday editions for the Critter Crew that released earlier this year. So you can add little party hats and balloons and create a really fun birthday scene with your critters. And then this one, we've got 3 bunnies. 2 of them are facing backwards with cute little bunny tails, and then we have that bunny in the middle. So happy to have you in my life. So I love how we can create such fun cards with such little stamps. A little goes a long way in the case of our every order freebies. All right, let's talk about our $100 freebies. So when you purchase $100 or more, you will automatically see our freebie added to your cart. And this month we have Springtime Sprinkles. This is an A2 rubber background stamp, and it features the cutest little doodles appropriate for spring. They have chicks and flowers and carrots, little leaves and tulips. So lots of fun things. I'm actually going to use this on my project today. It looks great tone on tone in the background, and that's actually how I envisioned using it. But if you do love to color, you could certainly color in all of these little bits and bobs as well. Let's see some samples. I love this one that Jill did. So she decided to spotlight a portion of that background stamp, and instead of coloring in the whole thing, she just popped up that central piece that she cut from our petite scallop circles and colored in only the elements on that spotlight, which is a fun technique that I think we forget about a lot of times. So I'm glad she showed it on this one. And then another one using that background with a beautiful watercolor wash. So she embossed that with white embossing powder and then washed across the background with liquid watercolor. So if you are at our virtual Stamp Joy event this weekend, you're going to be learning about that watercolor wash technique and being able to accomplish a card like this yourself. So super fun with the springtime sprinkles, free with orders of $100 or more for the month of March. All right, now we have several bundles, as I mentioned, and we got some new samples in. So I'm just going to walk you through the bundle names and some more of the inspiration from the design team. First off, we have our postmarked springtime bundle. And you can find the bundles all on the website, but the products that you see here were used on the cards. The sentiment set is in the bundle. The postmarked is this cute little background stencil that has a coordinating embossing folder. It also has a coordinating die that you can cut out all of these little postage pieces and create cute little scenes like this mailbox with the bunny popping out, holding on to the letter. Some other die sets were used in here too that are part of our second bundle, which is called a Tisket, a Tasket. And this one, I've got some samples to share as well. This is what I'm going to be using for the live today to create this project, along with a treat container. But this one features a large Easter basket. I'm excited to explore what we can do with this basket outside of the Easter theme. But for now, you're seeing mostly all Easter cards using this basket with the little bunny and flowers and eggs and creating a fun little scene with that bundle called a Tisket, a Tasket. And then our last bundle is called The Promise of Easter. And this one features our unique tunnel dies. So they create that tunneled effect when you layer them together to give you that multi-dimensional scene. So Susan is actually going to be live on Thursday. She's creating this card to show you how to layer these to get maximum dimension and kind of some tips and tricks. Susan always has something up her sleeve when it comes to making things easier when you go to execute this yourself. So I think all three of these are just gorgeous. And then last but not least, we do not have a bundle, but we have a new little treat container. This is called our Bitty Box. And then we have our Bitty Box bunny accessories. If you want to add on the face, the ears, and the little feet to make this into a little bunny. Super cute, fun to put your little Easter treats in and give to friends and coworkers, neighbors, grandchildren, all of that kind of good stuff. So, all right. Well, now we are going to get into our crafty time together, and I am excited to make a project with you today. These are the two projects that I will be making on the live today. I'm going to try to get through both of them, so I have done some die cutting ahead of time, and I want to walk you through the supplies that I'll be using to create these projects. So I've got all of the dies here. And it starts off with that die called a Tisket, a Tasket. This one features the Easter basket with the flowers, leaves, and even a bow. And then we have a Tisket, a Tasket Easter. This one features the Easter specific accessories for adding to the basket. Your eggs and bunny and chick, all the Easter grass as well. And then to add a sentiment on, I will be using the Pennant picks. So this features a pennant die that you can fold around the die cut kind of pole for your sentiment, and then several clear sentiments in there that will last you for many holidays throughout the year. We've got Happy Heart Day for Valentine's Day, Happy 4th of July, Happy Holidays, Happy St. Patty's Day, Happy Easter, which is the one I'll be using today. You even have some birthday and May Day in here as well. So lots of different ways you can add a little sentiment into your basket for many different holidays to come. Then some previously released products that I will be using to create my projects today. We've got Take a Bow, which I'm going to add a 3D bow to the front of my basket. And then to make my treat box, I'm going to be showing you how you can make 2 treat boxes out of this one die cut called Treats and Trinkets Box. And then last but not least, we have A2 postage stamp stacklets, which are just a staple in my craft room. So those are the products I'm going to be using today, and a couple of other supply items. I've got dragon fruit enamel dots that I'll be using, as well as cutting rosewater felt using one of our dies, and I'll be adding that on as a little scalloped detail on the basket. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start off by doing my stamping. So I have the springtime sprinkles that I mentioned. This is your freebie for the month of March. And we're going to start by stamping that tone on tone onto a piece of confetti cake cardstock. So when you hear me talk about tone on tone, I typically mean I'm using the same color ink on the same colored cardstock. So we'll get this set up in the MISTI. And we'll put this stamp down first. And then I'm going to put my paper down onto the stamp so that I know everything is going to be covered. I need a little bit of adhesive on the back of my MISTI so that I can just take this and close the back lid, press it down, and then it's going to pick up the paper right where I want it to stay. That's the way that I like to set up my background stamps, because you can't typically use a magnet when you are using this type of, all over design, and you can't push it down into the corner because then your design won't run off of the edges. So just a little bit of tape on the back of your MISTI, close that lid, and then your paper's going to stay right where you want it. Grab my Just Press tool. And there you can see that. If you do want it a little bit darker, you can ink it up again and stamp it down. Obviously, it's going to stay in the same place that it was. So that's the beauty of using this tool to do your stamping. All right, so we'll take that out, and I'll take my stamp out. We're going to do one more little stamping item here, which is the Gingham check background stamp. I forgot to put this in my supplies at the beginning, but I'll also be using this background stamp today to stamp the bottom of where my basket is going to rest. I thought it kind of looked a little bit like a tablecloth. So we'll go ahead and put this right in here. I can see that my other stamp kind of fell in that same area, so I'll just close this. Yep, it's going to completely cover my piece of Papaya cardstock, and we'll go ahead and just ink down on the bottom edge here. No need to waste our ink just to stamp it onto the grid paper. All right, so we've got that gingham check. It's going to create that cute little kind of tablecloth at the bottom of our scene where the basket is going to sit on. So I can go ahead and adhere this together and set that aside then. We'll go ahead and get everything ready for our little basket. So I have my A2, do I? Well, I know it was here.
A2 layer stacklets?
My postage stamp stacklet, I think, was pre-cut, and I had it sitting here, I thought. Do you see it? Postage stamp stacklet anywhere? Here it is. Okay. Woohoo! Found it. I get a cheer from Whitney when I find lost things. Okay, we're gonna take this postage stamp stacklet cut from Sugar Cube and just adhere it down to the Toffee card base. This is the largest stacklet in the set that I pre-die cut just to kind of save some time here. We got a lot of little pieces to put together. We'll adhere that. Okay. Now I'm going to take some foam tape on the back of this piece. I'm just using the 1x3 thin foam squares, or thin foam strips, I guess we call them. And 4 of them fit perfectly across here to give it some good sturdiness. And we'll go ahead and adhere that down to the postage stamp layer. And then we can get to work building our little basket scene. All right. There we go. So we'll set this aside. And I'm going to bring in some of my pre-cut pieces. I have my basket. I wanted to show you guys, though, this cool detail on the basket die. So that is part of the die cut. You don't have to do any extra work. Just run it through your die cut machine, and you get those fun etchings that make it look like a basket. And then we've got our little basket handle. Let's see. Catherine's asking a good question. So how do you decide if a stamp is going to be clear or rubber? And there are a lot of factors that go into that decision, but one of the main ones, a couple of the main ones, are the size of the stamp. So a lot of times the smaller the rubber stamps get, the harder it is for them to stick to your either your MISTI or your acrylic block. They can lose stickiness over time easier because of the very small size of them. Also, it's harder for our machines to cut that small of a piece. So a lot of times when we're making very small stamps, that is one reason. And then rubber, the reasons why we choose to make rubber are pretty much everything else. I really prefer to have a rubber stamp. I think it performs extremely well. In the MISTI, you can get a lot more detailed with your designs because of that really deep etching. So that's why we primarily make rubber stamps, but you will still see us make some clear stamps as well. Okay, so here's that basket. I am going to take my Toffee ink pad and just hit it with a little bit of Toffee ink to get some dimension on there, to kind of call out those etch markings that are on the die cut, just by adding a little bit of dark edge around it. And it is pretty rare that you will see me use plain die cuts. I like to add that dimension with a little bit of ink. You get almost that glow in the center that just gives your whole scene a little more realistic look. And then so the handle doesn't look out of place, I like to hit it with a little bit of ink as well. Okay, next up we are going to do our eggs. I have done a quick video on these eggs for our product page, so if you forget what I'm telling you here, you can always go back to the product page and revisit how to make these edge-to-edge die cuts with the cool way that these dies were designed. So we first did this maybe a year or almost a year and a half ago with candy canes, because with candy canes you want your stripes to go from edge to edge. I don't really want to see the outside of the die cut when I have that edge-to-edge design. I just want to see the design on there. So we came up with a way to create a die that will look like this first when you die cut the design and adhere it to the egg. Then you're going to take the smaller die and place it over the top, and it's just going to cut off that thin yellow line around the outside. So you are going to be left with eggs that look like this, where you have that design that goes from edge to edge. So I'm going to grab my die cut machine. I have a couple of the eggs already put together. I need 3 of the eggs, and so I didn't want to do all of them with you guys. But we'll set these aside and I'll show you how we die cut these pieces, put them together, and then die cut again with the slightly smaller egg die. Okay. So whatever color your pattern is going to be, you're going to arrange the pattern die over the top of that. And then you're going to use the larger of the 2 solid eggs on whatever color you want to be kind of your backer piece or your non-patterned piece. So I have Cupcake and Papaya that I'm cutting from here. So there's my backer piece, and here is the patterned piece of the egg. Punch out the little extras here. So we have these 2 pieces, and we're going to adhere these together using some liquid glue. The important part when you adhere these together is you only need to put glue on the actual pattern. You don't need to put any glue around the outside edge because that's going to end up getting cut off. No sense in having squirted glue around the outside when you don't really need to add any glue there. So just a few thin strips of the glue. And then we'll place that down onto that solid egg. Now I do know that some people use the egg like this, and that is a-okay. If you don't want to go through the extra step of going edge to edge, we did make this, to look like an egg still, so you don't necessarily have to go through this next step, but this is where the cool part happens. So we have this die cut that's glued together, and then I've taken the slightly smaller egg. These are both in the Easter accessories set. And then we're going to just tape that down once it's centered there. Sorry, I gotta hold it up closer to my face. I'm getting to that age where I just can't see quite as well from a distance. And I probably just don't want to admit it yet, so I haven't gotten glasses. I can hear what everyone's thinking out there. Just get the glasses, Taylor. Okay, so we'll peel this off, and you can see the outer edge of that die is just going to fall off, and then you have this piece left. You might have, because of the extra pressure of cutting through 2 layers of cardstock, your tape may kind of tear off, and it's easy to just peel it up. Especially if you're using that Scotch removable tape, it's not going to pull your cardstock or cause any issues there. So I'll go ahead and do the other 2 that I set aside here that I already had glued together. Tack that one in place. And that edge is going to fall off. We've given you some extra space, so even if you don't perfectly center it, you're still going to get that edge line cut off. And my little tape did decide it wanted to stick on there, so I'll just get my die pick under there and kind of pick it off. All right, there's egg number 2. And then last one, this one is Popsicle and Confetti Cake. Okay, it's good to know. Everybody says that I can get rainbow glasses, and so maybe that will make it easier for me to just just do it, right?
I am getting glasses. Does that make you feel better?
Oh, you are?
Yes, the doctor said my birth date is catching up with my eyes.
I
I was like, is that the nice way of telling me something?
It's the nice way of saying you're getting older.
I know.
That's great. All right, so we have our 3 eggs then that we'll be using on the project, and they have those fun edge-to-edge designs. They look like real Easter eggs. So next, before I put away my die cut machine, we're going to cut a couple more things. I mentioned at the beginning that I wanted to do a little felt accent on my Easter basket. So I have the little scallop die that coordinates with that basket, and this is our 100% wool felt. In case you didn't know, it can be die cut with any of our dies, and you just run it through and pop it out. Easy peasy. Now, I do know that there are other kinds of felts on the market. Not all are created equally. So our 100% wool felt gives you that really crisp line. If you're using acrylic felts, which are less expensive, you're going to get a fuzzier line. That is not the die's fault. That is the felt's fault. So try some of our 100% wool felt, or you can always, if you get little fuzzies, you can take your scissors and kind of trim along the edge. It just gets more difficult when you have more intricate cuts to get the fuzzies off. So that piece is done. And then the other thing, I really was playing with different textures for this. And I wanted the Easter grass in my basket to look like that plastic grass that you often find in the bottom of kids' Easter baskets. And so we were talking about this in the craft room and settled on, what if you just tried foil? So I grabbed this. This is our Green Stars and Sparkle foil. And you can actually, foil is very flimsy, but you can die cut foil. So you don't necessarily need to add it to a toner sheet. And the reason I didn't in this case is I wanted it to have that kind of flimsy, grassy sort of texture to it. So I wanted it to remain thin and pliable. If you wanted to, you could first adhere it to a piece of toner sheet and then die cut it, but then it's gonna behave more like paper than like that plasticky grass that I was going for. So I just wanted to show this as an option. And you do probably, I found it was helpful, maybe because my machine is a little older, but to just run it through a couple times. And then it comes right out. So you have that kind of flimsy, it almost even sounds like the grass in the Easter basket, crinkly. I need one more piece for the treat basket that we're going to make, so I'm going to run it through one more time. Okay. If you do have little parts that just want to get stuck on there, run it through an extra time next time, but it just kind of peels apart really easily out of that die cut. So a couple pieces of grass. Let me revisit my card here and make sure I don't need to die cut anything else. We did our eggs. I already have the chick and the bunny. We did our felt. We did our grass. We have our basket. Okay, I think we're ready to adhere things together to build our basket. I think that's an interesting thought. Lee is asking, would you consider making a sampler bundle of felt?
Woo! I love it.
Tell me more about that, Lee. What do you want to do with a sampler bundle? Like what size would you want to do for your little sample pieces? What is enough to consider it a sampler? I would love to hear that. I know we do have some bundles, at least one on our website that has 6 different colors of the rainbow that we've built to look good together, but I think you're talking about maybe smaller pieces of felt. Okay, let me grab my basket here. I'm going to go ahead and glue the felt on first. You don't need a special glue for the felt. A lot of times if I'm making a 3D element with felt, like a bow or a rolled flower or something like that, I will use our Fast Grab Tacky Glue. It's an Aleene's product. However, if you just have a regular liquid glue, the key is to not saturate your felt, because it is a porous material, and so if you put a ton of glue on it, it's going to seep through to the front. So just a very light bit of glue on there. Now let's go ahead and put our little grass on. I'm going to go ahead and just put another thin strip of glue on the back of the basket. And I'll take my grassy piece of foil and just stick it down there. Just like that. Okay, now we can put our handle on. And I don't want to forget about my little bunny, because my bunny does need to sit in front of the grass. So I think I didn't put too much adhesive on there, that I can just kind of push that bunny down into the basket. The thing I love about this bunny, Erin, who is one of our graphic designers here, designed this adorable bunny, and she made his little arms kind of pop out from the body so that you can easily tuck it behind the basket. So he is meant to tuck in here. So I'm going to just kind of fold his arms forward as I tuck his body behind and push it down behind the grass. Oh, he's so cute. I love that bunny. Okay, now we'll do the same with the eggs. I have this egg that I'm just going to kind of set next to the bunny and kind of push him down in there next to, in front of the grass, next to the bunny. Just like that. Now we can go ahead and put our bunny, whoops, on the card. Grabbed the wrong teal piece in front of me. So we can put our basket on the card, and the rest of the elements are going to fit around it, and then we'll finish off that sentiment. And then we will do our little treat box. So using that same basket, you can create a little treat box to hold your Easter treats. I picked up these Albanese gummies, springtime gummies at, I think it was Costco had them, but Target has them in smaller bags. You guys know me though, I had to get the Costco size bag. So yeah, you can find those and they are so good. All right, so let's put some foam tape on the back of the basket. I like to kind of overlap the foil piece just to give it a little more stability of adhesive from behind so it doesn't come away from there. I think I cut my piece just a little too big. And then I might have just enough here that I cut off to put one little bit of foam tape at the top of my basket here. And that's just going to hold that handle down and keep it from flopping around on your card front. And then we'll build the rest of our scene and talk about our little treat box. You could do a matching card and treat box, which would be a fun little gift to give. Okay, I have already built our little chick, so let me grab that. He has like a half egg to pop out of, and that's going to go at the bottom here. And I want a little piece of foam tape at the bottom so that it's popped up at the same level as the basket, and then I'll put a little bit of just liquid adhesive up here so that it adheres down to the actual basket that it's overlapping. Okay, then we've got eggs. Another little piece of foam. Oh, great question. Joan, you're on to us. Yeah, Joan is asking if we're going to release other holidays or other accessory sets for the Giftables box, the Biddy box. And yes, we already have ideas in the works. It's such a cute little shape that it's going to be fun to keep exploring little ways to make it into something else. So you will see that Biddy box likely pop back onto the radar. Okay. Another little piece of foam and some adhesive on the part that's going to stick to the basket. And there it is. We just need our sentiment, which I'm going to show you is part of that little Pennant picks set. I already have the pennant here, die cut. It has a little etch marking down the middle. It's actually an impression line so that it tells you where to fold it in half. It also tells you halfway between this point and this point is where you want to stamp your sentiment. So I will grab my Misty back again. This time I will need the, do I have? Okay, I have my mini Misty here. My mini Misty has the black pad in it for clear stamps that I'm going to need for this one. And then here are those little clear stamps that are designed to fit on the pennant. I do need a magnet, Wit. Could I have a Misty bar magnet? Maybe. I know we use tape a lot, but...
One was sitting on your craft desk.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's grab the Hoppy Easter. Oh no, Hoppy Easter is missing.
Oh no!
Let me see. Oh, no, it's not missing. She just put it on the acrylic block for me.
Perfect.
All right, so we're gonna take that and position it over the centered between that impression line and the edge of the banner. And then I'm gonna pick it up with the lid here once I feel like I've got it perfect. We will pop a little powder on there from our powder tool. And then add VersaMark. VersaMark is the watermark ink pad that allows your ink to stay wet long enough to add embossing powder over the top. So I have my white embossing powder for this sentiment. I think I am looking at this now and I did it the wrong way. But we're going to make it work. There is no wrong way, but I will mention you can stamp it on this side of the banner and that's going to give you a banner that goes towards the left. Or like this, I stamped it on the right side and then my banner is going to go the other direction. So I'm actually not sure that's what I want, but that's what I did. Okay, that excess powder that's on your paper, you can just take your little buffing cloth and buff that off. And then we'll go ahead and fold this in half. It folds perfectly for you. And this little die cut pole or stick or pick, whatever you want to call it, just fits in between the folded area. So we can put some adhesive here now that we're ready to adhere it down. I want to make sure that I get that pole to stay in there so it doesn't slide out. So I put some adhesive over in the corner as well. So there's that. Yes, you guys can do that in your craft room. You can stamp both sides and then decide what you want to do. I just don't want to keep you here all day by embossing again and again and again. So we're just going to adhere this right like that. I think it looks great. I will put a little bit of foam tape again on the back of my pennant. Another little piece here, and then a little bit of liquid adhesive on the pick. You saw that I did cut that down, and that's why we made the pick long, so that you could put it in a variety of places and just trim it off when you don't need all that extra space. I think, did I forget to peel this off? I did. Okay, so we'll tuck this under the grass. Put that little guy above there and tack that down. There it is. Cute, cute, cute. All right, let's move on to our basket. I have 2 of the basket dies already pre-cut. I already told you about how I like to blend everything, so I'm not gonna blend on these, but normally if I wasn't on a time crunch, I would. The other thing that I have already cut is that die cut from the Treats and Trinkets box. So this is one die cut, and what you can do is create 2 different kind of inside boxes to hold your candy from this one die. What I'm going to do is just cut it in half, and you are going to have 2 separate boxes. And what I did was just measured the length of the box. It is 2 5/8, and when you divide that by 2, it is 1 5/16. So, and you know what? It's not really that important that they be perfectly in half. So if a different measurement is a little easier for you, just one box, you're not even really seeing the box inside of the baskets either. So I am going to take and find 1 5/16. I got to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. 1 5/16 right there. And we will cut this in half. So now we have 2 of these little boxes. Super simple, right? And they already have the impression lines on them. So now you can just fold on those impress lines, and it's going to create this little one side open box for you to put your little candies in. If you have a bone folder, you can give it an extra crease to help this all go together. All right, so I like to start by gluing this end piece to the other end, just like this. Easy peasy. Put a little bit of liquid adhesive on there and fold it together. Pinch it into place until that glue holds. And then you don't even need the adhesive on here, unless you've really got maybe a heavy treat or something. But you can just pop that little notch back in place, and you've got yourself a little box. And then this box fits perfectly behind your Easter basket. That was just a magical discovery. that I made. So I was gonna just make my own box and tell you guys how to do that, and I realized we have this amazing Treats and Trinkets box that already exists, and you can get 2 for 1. It's a 2 for 1. All right. Put a little bit of adhesive here on each side. And then you just glue the basket to the front of the box. You do want to, so with the etch markings on that die cut, it does take a little bit longer for liquid adhesive to kind of grab onto that. So you do want to give it some good pressure and squeeze that together before you just set it aside. I know some people like to use binder clips. You can put a binder clip in there. You might even be able to slide a magnet inside of there, one of our little a flat magnet like the Misty Bar magnet, and kind of hold down the side while you wait for that adhesive to dry. So there's your little Easter basket treat. And then it just sets up just like that. I put, we have these little treat bags that we sell at the TE web store. I think they're called treat bags. And they're just cellophane, they're food safe, so you can put whatever treat you want in there and then just tuck that inside of the basket. So to decorate the basket, I have a little, let's see, this is the tornado phase here that I'm in. I have stuff everywhere. Like, I know I die cut this piece, so I have my little scallop that goes on the front. And then I mentioned that I was using that Take a Bow set to create a little bow for the front of my basket. I have die cut this from Bubblegum cardstock, and I like to loosen it a little bit with something round that you can just kind of pull on that and loosen the fibers of the cardstock, so that when you go to adhere this into a 3D bow, your cardstock isn't creasing and crinkling on you. So this is a good step to take anytime you're making any of the 3D bows from that set, because the idea is that you fold the edges in and they glue together on the back to create that bow. So we'll go ahead, and this is another one that takes a little bit of, coaxing to get it to stay. You got to hold it in place for a bit and then tuck that other end in there. Am I even on screen here? Okay. So I'm just going to hold that in place, but you can see it's making this cute little 3D bow that you can then adhere to the front of the basket. I think I got it to stay there. So that's going to go right there. And I've got my dragon fruit enamel dots. I'm going to take one of the biggest ones. If you have trouble using the biggest ones or finding somewhere to use them, this is a great spot. Just the middle of the bow. And then that goes right there. Then, of course, we have other little extras that you can put on here. We've got our little bunny. I pre-cut another one that can tuck in here. We have our carrot. If you want to put a little carrot with your bunny, you can put that in there. And we have the Easter grass that I previously cut. That's just going to go right behind. So I will need to take out my little treat itself to get the grass in here. Tuck that right down there, press it into place. Got your little crinkly grass. Now before that glue dries, I want to pop this bunny in front of my grass. Okay. Put our carrot on, which I thought was adorable because there's carrots in this little set of gummies. And then the only thing missing are the handles, which you can add if you want, or you wouldn't even have to. It looks cute even without the little handles on it. But fun ideas for Easter treat giving. And I can't forget about the giveaway that I teased you all with. So let me gather my things here and I'll show you where these projects ended up one more time. And there it is with the handles. All right, so let's talk about our giveaway. I like to give things away, and Whitney always loves to give things away. So we came up with something we thought would be fun to kind of go with our Easter theme. So found this at a little shop here. I think this is from the At Home store. This adorable little bunny resembles our cute little bitty box bunny. And so we would like to give this away to one lucky winner. It is a coffee mug, and then we've put some of the my favorite spring gummies inside for you to enjoy. So this is going to go to one lucky winner. What you need to do to win is leave a comment and tell me, what are you most looking forward to when spring arrives? Like, what's the one thing that you're just excited to do? Are you going to plant in your garden? Or, you know what mine is? Whitney and I talked about this morning. I'm excited to get my car cleaned out. I always wait until the end of winter because the floor, it gets so icky and everybody's in with their snow-covered everything. And so that's always what I look forward to. It's kind of the sign of spring, the sign that I'm confident that no snow is going to come anymore. So yeah, it's not here yet, but that's what I'm looking forward to. So you guys leave your comments and we will post a winner. I believe, do we post that on our fan page or do we just reach out to the winner?
I'll tag them on YouTube.
Okay.
On Friday, I'll pick a winner.
Okay, sounds good. So even if you're watching this on replay, leave your comment. The winner will be chosen and announced on Friday. Whitney will tag you in this video if you are our lucky winner. And of course, we'll look for you in our system and just get this off into your mailbox. All right, everybody, have a great day. It's going to be a big week around here at Tailored Expressions. So on Thursday, Susan is going to be live. As I mentioned earlier, she's using that Tunnel Easter, the Promise of Easter die set. And so we are excited for her to share some tips and tricks with that. That is Thursday at 10 o'clock. And then we kick off our big virtual Stamp Joy event Thursday evening. If you are signed up to come, then make sure you mark your calendar for Thursday night. We are going to do our kickoff party where we talk about all of the early release products that you will have access to purchase during Stamp Joy. And then all day Friday, most of the day Saturday, we are going to be crafting together. The design team members who are coming will be on their way on Thursday, and we will all be gathering here in this space to bring you virtual Stamp Joy, and we are so excited about it. So if you're not joining virtual Stamp Joy, and even if you are, join us as well on Saturday for a sneak peek of what's coming next week. Whitney and I will have a video out on Saturday morning so you can get the earliest look at what will be coming to you next week. All right, everybody, have